Hello class, I know I said I'd release a second video about understanding how to do Chargaff's rules problem, so we'll do a quick example together. So let's look at this first question. 20% T, thymine, means I have how many adenine, or A? So, like we said before, A is always going to match with T, apple turnovers, right? So that means however amount of T I have will always be the same amount as A. So if T is 20%, then A is also 20%. That part's easy. Same thing with C and G. C stands for cytosine and G stands for guanine. However many C's I have will always equal to the amount of G's I have, and vice versa. So if I have 30% C's, then I will also have 30% G's. So they will always be the same. And one thing I want you to notice, the questions 1 and 2 are special because they're related, but A and T, and C and G, when you add it all up, they're going to equal 100. And remember, A plus T plus C plus G, the sum of all these parts need to equal 100. So 20 plus 20 is 40, 40 plus 30 is 70, and 70 plus 30 is 100. So that is question 1. Now let's do a quick erase and try other problems real quick. Let's go ahead and do numbers 3 and 4 together to make sure we have a good understanding of this. So this is 20, this here is 30. Alright, this is where it gets a little more complicated. 40% of thymine and adenine means I have what percentage of guanine, right? So, it's not saying T has 40 and A has 40, it means T and A together have 40%. So, remember, A and T always have to have the same amount. So we know A plus T equals 40. So how do you figure out what A and T have individually? Easy, you divide it by 2. A and T have 20, right? But that's not our goal. Our goal is to figure out how much guanine, how much G do we have. Now, let's keep this simple. If we know that the sum of all the letters, all the nitrogen bases need to equal 100, if we know that A and T is 40, that means C and G must equal 60, because 60 plus 40 is 100. Now, we know how much C and G have together, but we just need to know how much G has by itself. So again, the amount of C and G will always be the same. So what I do is divide 60 by 2. That'll give me the amount of C and G. Does that make sense? Okay. Now we'll run through the rest of these shortly. Let's finish this up. And let us do the last 3 questions while I erase this problem real quick. So 30% here. Okay. Now, 15% of G and C means I have what percent of T? Now this one gets a little tricky because now you have to use decimals. So G and C together have 15%. How much A and T do I have? What's going to happen is, remember, the sum of all bases need to equal 100. So I'm going to take 100, subtract it by 15, because that's how much C and G I have. And that will tell me how much A and T I have. And that should be about 85. Now we know A and T together have 85. But how do I figure out how much T has? Because I'm only looking for T. Again, A and T will always equal the same. 85 divided by 2. And it's going to be a little tricky. For anybody who can do mental math, it's going to be 42.5. So, A is 42.5, and so is T. And if you wanted to figure out C and G, to tell you C and G together is 15, so divide that by 2. C and G together are 7.5 each. Okay? Let's do the final 2 problems. While I erase this so we can try the next one. 43.5. Alright, this one's easy. Now this time they're only giving you one letter. 40% of adenine, A, means I have how much guan, G. So let's keep this simple. A is 45, right? And however, A I have will always equal to T. Apple turnovers. 45 plus 45, that's going to give me 90. Now that means C and G together need to add up, add with 90 to make 100. So 100 minus 90 is 10. So we know C and G together is 10. Now, I only want to know how much G I have. And remember, collard greens. C and G will always go together. So what I'm going to do is divide the 10 by 2, and that'll tell me how much C and G I have. That's going to be 5%. So I have 5% G. Alright, and final thing. The final question is, I have, let me fix that 5. I have 60% A and T, means I have how much C? Again, A and T together means they add up to 60. So A and T is going to equal 60 together. How much C do I have? In order to figure out how much C I have, I need to make sure all the bases sum up to 100. So 100 minus 60 is 40. I have 40% G and C. And again, divide that by half to figure out how much C and G you have. This is 20. 20, 30, 30. So your answer for this problem should be 20%. Okay, hopefully this was helpful. Let me know if you have any more questions, class, and you are free to go.